What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We got another Would You Rather episode coming up. Today, Alex, we're gonna talk about two of your favorites, but now you only get to choose one of two of your favorites. All right. So the question I have: if you only could choose one, would you rather, as of today's closing prices, and today is 9/21/2024. At today's closing prices, if you only had to choose one, would you rather invest in Meta or Disney?
So going into Meta first with my unbiased opinion because I got into Meta at 148. To me, their price is not very attractive with where it's at, especially because it's so extended and the I have no doubts in the company and the future of the company. I just, as an investor, the price at which they're at right now is very, very high. And I was noticing this too this past week with all the volatility and everything. Meta was one that was really jumping up high, and Disney was at, you said 94, right? It's around there, I think 93, 94 ish.
Right. It's at 93.58.
So Disney, and this is one that I like, um, because we've especially been talking about this in the class in the Discord, which we always put in our bio, guys. Don't feel afraid to join. And Disney's one that I've been adding as a position as well. And I've been adding it under that $100 mark. And so what I love about Disney, and my answer would be Disney, and the reason why is because not only is Disney at an attractive price compared to where they were at their once all-time highs, but if you look at the financials, I really love the financials on Disney. A company that I think right now is worth 160-ish billion. If you can pull that up,
170.
170 billion. And I think their last year revenue was like 80 something billion. I can't remember if it was 83, 86, somewhere around there.
It was 82, and
80.
the projected trailing 12 months is 90 billion.
Okay. So 80 to 90 billion a year in revenue, and the company is trading at two times, what they make. So I don't know if we've done a video on valuations of companies, but a fair point I think is putting a very large company a 10x multiplier on them. Is that correct to say, or would you agree with that? A 5 to 10x multiplier?
5 10s. Yep.
Yeah. And so Disney is at call it a 2x right now. And so with what the company is making compared to what they're valued at right now, I think is very attractive. And to be honest, I mean, with what we see Disney doing and the approaches that they're taking with actually starting to, I guess you could call it monetize just about everything, because there was I didn't know this because I've never been a huge consumer, but from hearing from other consumers at Disney, they've talked about, oh, this stuff, like certain things at the park used to be included, or you go and buy this and this was included, and now I've heard them complain about now you have to pay for this and that, and like there's so many things Disney is charging for now with, I think, due to the new CEO, from what I've heard from consumers, that this approaches how the business should have been ran from the beginning. And Disney is constantly growing, and they have their, Disney streaming service, competing with Netflix. They have the Disney cruises. They have so much more to offer than they did 60 years ago. So I think that Disney and the way that it's going will continue to see more and more growth because people still love being a consumer of Disney.
Okay, good answer. Good answer. All right, for me to go into it, I mean, let's just call the companies what they are. Both of them is a content company. Both of them are content companies. I mean, they just do it in different ways. Disney's content is produced within the company. Meta's content is produced within the users within the servers. I look at it in a holistic point of view: short term, mid term, long term. Short term, if let's just use if a quote unquote recession is on the way, or that's a headwind for both companies. I think Disney will be impacted more than Meta. The reason why I say that is because if people have less funds, and that's going to be less trips to Disney, less costs that they can spend at their parks. um but in the inverse, and you got to understand where both companies get their majority of revenue from. Disney gets majority of their revenue from consumers, the bottom line, the consumer of their product. Meta gets most of their revenue from business. That's the two elements: business. So if we're talking about a recession's on the horizon and we had to buy one or the other right now, Meta, because they get most of their revenue from businesses also advertise on Meta. I mean, of course, they advertise on the Disney platforms and things like that, but they advertise on Meta, and then they also advertising on big television networks. So let's say it's a crunch in the economy. I believe more businesses will look at that advertising dollars, where it's going, where they're getting more bang for their buck, where they're getting more eyes on, and then they're going to look at the cheapest place to advertise, which would be Meta versus Disney. So I think in the short term, if we have a recession coming on our hands, I think Meta will outperform Disney in that aspect, because again, where they derive their income from is different. Now the financials on Disney, 2 times sales, that's very attractive, very attractive. If we're talking, a long term play of how this thing goes, I think that Disney has a lot of matrix out there that looks good. They got the earnings, $2.61 per share. They just brought back the dividend this year. That looks great. The gross profit is 35, net profit is about 7%. I wish the net profit, or the net margin, excuse me, the net margin was a little bit higher than that. But like you said, uh Bob Iger, he was you said a new CEO. He's actually an old CEO that had to come back because the Bob Chapek, he was running into the ground. Um, but Bob Iger came back, and he is monetizing everything. The thing that both companies have is Disney and Facebook have cult followings, meaning that it's so hard for people to unglue that phone from their hand to search Facebook. But Disney has generations of cult followings of people. They just have to go there. They have to take their kids there. And a trip to Disney, especially here in Florida, it's if you leaving out paying less than $3,000 to $5,000, especially if you come in, counting hotel and uh, flights and stuff like that. The people local is way cheaper because they could just go back home every day. But if you leaving Disney without paying $3,000 to $5,000, you made off well. But in a holistic aspect of it, understanding ebbs and flows of economies and economies of scale and things of that nature, I think in a recession, Meta will perform better. I believe in the long run, Meta still will perform better. Now, when it comes down just to bang bucks risk reward, bang buck risk reward, I've already stated, I think over the long term, Meta will perform better. But now, just going risk reward, if I'm just saying, hey, the most likelihood if I invest in this stock today, which will give me the biggest return over the next 10 years, I would have to go Disney, even though I believe Meta company will perform better. I think the valuation in Meta is than um, way higher than Disney. And then when you add in the aspect of the regulatory environment and different things, like right now, Meta is at a 52-week high at 651, valuation at $1.4 trillion. Great earnings. That's never their margin is way better. That's what I mean. That I believe that they will outperform Disney on a company operation standard. But just bang bucks, risk reward, Disney would be the play for me here, because let's just call it Disney going up 1x would put them at what about $198 a share? Facebook from right now to get a 100% return would be roughly about $1,100 a share. That will be valuing Facebook at around $2.4 trillion dollars.
I think the problem with a lot of people getting started in the stock market is they miss those concepts. Is it's not so much of, oh, look at the number of the stock, it can just double. Like, you've got to understand what it would take for that valuation to happen. Like with and I'm not trying to get off track, but just to use one example, like the Bitcoin craze, or you know, coins like that, or certain volatile like meme stocks and stuff. It takes billions and trillions of dollars for these companies, once they've already reached their all-time highs, to double from there on. I mean, like Nvidia, perfect example. I mean, Nvidia already crossed over, like, I think it was 3 trillion. For it to double from then, it needs another 3 trillion. So it's a concept I think a lot don't take into consideration.
Yeah, before I was rudely interrupted by Alex. That's what I'm saying. But no, but yeah. So to get 100%, to get 100% return on investment in Meta, the stock price would have to be almost $1,200, $1,200 per share. Disney, 190. Disney has been up there to 190 to just get 100% return. But I think company wise, Meta is the better company. I mean, the only thing that I think will hold back Meta is regulatory environments, speech environments, people picking one side of the aisle, left or right. And I think Mark Zuckerberg did a great job of that this campaign cycle of just divorcing himself from either side. Because I mean, the entire time Trump was in office before, he was just congressional hearings and all this other stuff. It's better just to worry about your business and stop trying to get into the political landscape. But barring that, and Disney have its own regulatory hurdles with Florida and stuff like that. But barring that, bang for buck wise, I would pick Disney, but I think Meta over the long term, unless, yeah, I think Meta over the long term, business operation wise, will be better over the long term.
I agree. With that being said, guys, if you have any questions or comments, don't forget to let us know down below. Don't forget to click the link on the Discord, join our Discord. We're building, we're growing. Don't forget to hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.